that last moment, which couldn't encapsulate better the aims of the project that Gabrielle and I are working on in trying to define and call together this field of Indo-Caribbean feminist thought. Okay, so the other thing I'll quickly say, Shivani, is that I love the way you paired those two pieces because it also reminds us of the variety of places in which we can find Caribbean literature being produced, such as on a Facebook post and in the lived realities as when you see the universe expanding in a father's eyes. So thank you for reminding us. Great, great pleasure to welcome Ramabai Espinet to the stage, who also is an incredible writer in terms of the a variety of genres in which she produces. But we're also deeply grateful to her because she has been with us for the last 2 days, providing her own scholarly insights and advice and guidance and history of involvement with feminist activism and scholarship to the work that we've been all doing together. So now she's here in her literary capacity, and I'll just tell you quickly that her published works include the poetry collection Nuclear Seasons, the children's book The Princess of Spadina, which, as we said, is here. If there are a few copies left, you can get them, and she said she'd be willing to sign them for us. The Ninja's Carnival is also a children's book from 1993, and she has numerous short fiction and poetry pieces that are published in various anthologies. She's also the author of The Swinging Bridge, published in 2003, which for so many people working in this field and in Caribbean literature has been hugely influential, and especially as I guide graduate students, I constantly see this book being brought up as being transformational. She's also created the poetry performance piece Indian Robber Talk, and finally, in a really major intervention in Caribbean literature, she's also the editor for Creation Fire, which is an anthology of Caribbean women's poetry in several languages, so crossing the linguistic divides within the Caribbean region, and I forget how many poets are in it, but a really massive number. Okay, so I welcome her to the stage tonight, and we'll have a discussion for all of the writers after she reads her work.
I'm reading from several works, so not very much from each, but I'll start with Nuclear Seasons, a collection of poetry. And the first poem that I want to read is the first poem in the collection called Hosein. Like a key turning in the rusty iron lock of memory, shadows filter past the thin, skinless eye of moon, now cutting through the night blue sky. And like echoes of an old skin drum drawn across the lash of memory, the mind pitter-patters. Hosein in deep-edged St. James dark, where drumsticks rain fire on Portoy's back. I was a small boy on flag night, a small girl on Ganges Street, watching the Tajers. Near the mosque door, the sun and moon kissed, straw fires lined the streets, stirring a dim morning dream of colder times, ancient streets, fires for warming hands and drums, tribesmen, plainsmen, my grandfather's pale eyes and swarthy hands, a journey outside the lodge of memory, the cutting edge of bitter pain. Behind the moon and God's back, pain knowing no end, we lived alone, like shadow, murdering shadow. The stars alone for safety, castles beating in the dark, rum, stick fight, chulhas, flights to nowhere. This land is home to me, now homeless, a true refugee of the soul's last corner, Sadhu days and Babu days and Mai and Orni days lost to me, like elephants and silks, the dows of Naipaul's yearning, not mine. And the second poem from this collection is The Face, and this is something that I dedicate to the symposium that we had today. because it's just a woman's face on a magazine cover that brought about this poem. While I looked at his serious face, hard against the page, all life strands crossed and fixed in set laburnum rage at the whole whodunit universe, a face set hard against the grain, lifting convex lines of pain, resistant calibrations, lean adumbrations, and living still. And then the next one is, it's just called An Ageable Woman. Does everyone know the meaning of ageable? I'm sure you can tell me. Anyhow, I have a definition for it. It's a woman of a good age. This Caribbean is mine, not because I've bought it, or bartered it, or because I sell, trade, or use it, or find it to be a lovely piece of real estate. This Caribbean is mine, because when sun burned my back and pain cut my legs, and jiggers bore holes through my rice-planting feet, I wait for evening, and the sun goes down, and the night is full of crickets, frog song, and a man of Carib soil. And when the blue-winged marauders come, I see how we can't wait. Destiny lies covered in the turquoise sea, and how long, my son and daughter, can we wait to part the waves, to weld the bonds, to fish for the jewels waiting in the sea? I do what I can, old now, weak and strong. I wait for the young to recover from sleeping and too much purple dreaming. I wait for the warriors of a new mind, the small girls and boys, to bear the banners we made them for, from our blood and bone. And I, an ageable woman now, think of times to come when cowards will fall, and blue waves cover them as the cycle moves on, when the young, now sailing in coconut boats through calm lagoons of memory, will breathe with fiery breath, or aging swan songs, or visions, or people's truth. Take the leavings of cities, and let me return home, buried in green mountains, without caskets or guilt, running through the eternal silver of rock rivers, and breathing the freedom of an earth, not caught under a whitened sepulchral eve, not subdued, not stripped bare and pillaged, won by new warriors and old gods, black and brown, green and fearless, learning the discourse of a new war. As ageable but strong, I sing a song for our own, for healing on the earth, delivered from falsehood and laden with new colors for all. Lisa mentioned Indian Robert Talk, and I feel I have to read it. But I just want to say a couple of words about it before. You all know what Robert Talk is, and this is playing with the idea of Robert Talk. Robert Talk has several characteristics which I use. One is that it is mock heroic, it is boastful, it is deliberately exaggerated, and more than that, it pinions the listener. When you start doing a Robert Talk, the listener cannot leave. This is the carnivalesque figure. And I wrote this poem. It has several parts. I'll only read a few. And some time ago, and I have now revisited it to complete it. It isn't really complete. And it's a poetry, dance, performance piece. The Indian robber who is speaking right now, and actually mouthing the prologue, is a female robber. So that's quite different from the masquerade figure. The Indian robber speaks. Rum, sweet rum, when I call you, you're bound to come. Rum, glorious rum, when I call you, you're bound to come. It was made from carony cane. It's the best thing in Port of Spain. I could send Miss Scorpion to bite your centipede, sanity. 1,000, 10,000 to bar, me one. And after I pass this bridge, I go be like cutlass in water. And cutlass cut water, they say it don't leave no mark. But hear what I say. When this cutlass pass, it will leave a mark that nobody can see. Indelible. They could have never rub it out. as I pass through here once only, or they can't forget this mark. You can't see it, you can't feel it, but it's there. Invisible. It's me, the Indian robber. Yes, I, the coolie robber. I don't get a blessing from the ghost of Boise Singh, from Rafi and Joe Pulul, from the mad woman in Sandy Grande, from Amoy and Babuni, from the baddest of we, from the maddest of we. And I'm telling you, brother, that I have no way you could stop me now. My hair loose out, my tongue loose out, my body busts out, and what I have to say, I will say, and you will hear. I walk through acres of Himalaya snow. A dead thirst in the Gobi Desert, I lie down flat in the Deccan. I travel distance immobile as wind. When I pass the miles I walk to come here, nobody could have seen me. I was born in Varanasi, in Agra, in Kerala. My mother, a Devadasi. Shah Jahan was my grandfather. They dipped me in water from a pond in front of the Taj Mahal. Before I was 7, I kill and eat 2 tigers, drink the milk, and ride on the next one. My brother was Ramu, the wolf boy. My father was a HERRERA. My grandmother was a bandit queen, Badar and Pulan Devi. But you see me here, I is a woman with the heart of a tiger, like a man with an iron hand. I is my grandfather. Whip and lash and curse. My grandmother bending low in the cane field. The mark of this cutlass is a sure mark. When I had 5 years, my uncle lifted me up. He put me on his shoulder and he said, when you get big, you ain't afraid nothing. And look me here, I ain't afraid nothing. If anybody touch me, if they push me, you only have to think something. And I go slice you up small, 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 small. They will have to bring toothpick to pick you up from the floor. If you think are too bad, left me for tomorrow, I still fasten, me ain't stopping. And when the cutlass pass so, let me see the man who will wipe it out. I'm telling you, I will send a scorpion to bite your sanity. Sanity.